But after modernism, we see post-modern period. So what were the characteristics of this period? Let's talk about the chief characteristics of the modern period, postmodern period. The postmodern period, about the time that World War, modern period began at the time of the First World War and ended till at the time of Second World War. The post-modern period began after the Second World War. Some say that the period lasted till 1990s. Post-structuralists, literary theory and criticism developed during the post-modern period. So some notable writers of the post-modern period include Samuel Beckett, Joseph Heller, Anthony Burgess and John Fowles. These were the very famous writers of post-modern English literature. Postmodernism is a broad movement that developed in the mid to the late 20th century across philosophy, arts, architecture and criticism, making a departure from modernism. It is an intellectual stance or mode of discourse defined by an attitude of skepticism towards what is described as the grand narratives and ideologies of modernism. So it was a reaction against modernism. In short, postmodernism is a late 20th century movement in philosophy, in literary theory that generally questions the basic assumptions of Western philosophy in the modern period. So postmodern writers question the philosophies, the art, the assumptions of the modern period. The very term postmodernism implies a relation to modernism. Modernism was an earlier aesthetic movement which was in vogue, which was in fashion in the early decades of the 20th century. It has often been said that postmodernism is at once a continuation of and a break. Continuation of and a break away from the modernist stance. Postmodernism shares many of the features of modernism. Both schools, modernism and postmodernism, both schools reject the rigid boundaries between high and low art. Postmodernism even goes a step further and deliberately mixes low art with high art, the past with the future, or one genre with another genre. There is no boundary. Modernist and postmodernist works are also fragmented works and do not easily directly convey a solid meaning like in the Westland, like in Waiting for Godot. We don't have a concrete meaning in these works. We have to decipher these works. That is, these works are consciously ambiguous and give way to multiple interpretations. We can interpret the Westland in as many ways as we like. The individual or subject depicted in these works is often decentered, without a central meaning or goal in life, like a birthday party. There is no concrete meaning, and dehumanized, often losing individual characteristics and becoming merely the representatives of the age or civilization, like Tiresias in the wasteland, or like Godot, like Lucky, like Pozo, like Estragon. And in Birthday Party we have different characters. They are not concrete characters, they don't give any message, we have to decipher. So they show the insecurity, disorientation and fragmentation of the 20th century Western world. The Western world in the 20th century began to experience this deep sense of insecurity because it progressively lost its colonies in the Third World, worn apart by two major world wars, and found its intellectual and social foundations shaking under the impact of new social theories and developments such as Marxism and post-colonial global migrations, new technologies, and the power shift from Europe to the US. So there were certain changes in the political sphere. Though both modernism and postmodernism employ fragmentation, employ discontinuity and decenteredness in theme and technique, the basic dissimilarity between the two schools, modernism and postmodernism, between the two schools is hidden in this very aspect. There is disorientation, ambiguity, dissatisfaction, fragmentation, loss of hope. Modernism projects the fragmentation and decenteredness of contemporary world as tragic. It laments the loss of unity and center of life and suggests that works of art can provide the unity. Works of art can provide coherence. Works of art can provide continuity, and works of art can provide meaning that is lost in the modern life. And the fragmentation, the incoherence of this world is affected in the structure of the poem. The structure of the poem, The Wasteland, reflects the incoherence, the fragmentation, the loss of unity of the modern world. However, The Wasteland tries to recapture the lost meaning and the lost organic unity by turning to Eastern cultures, and in the use of Tiresias as a protagonist. In the post-modern, fragmentation and disorientation is no longer tragic. Postmodernism, on the other hand, celebrates fragmentation. It considers fragmentation and decenteredness as the only possible way of existence. Postmodernism does not try to escape from these conditions. Postmodernism accepts fragmentation. Postmodernism accepts disorientation as a part of life. The postmodernist disbelief in coherence and unity points to another basic distinction between modernism and postmodernism. Modernism believes that coherence and unity is possible, thus emphasizing the importance of rationality on order. Modernism emphasizes upon the importance of unity and coherence. Order. Postmodernism, however, goes to the other extreme. It does not say that some parts of the society illustrate order and that other parts illustrate disorder. No. Postmodernism, in its criticism of the binary opposition, cynically even suggests that everything is disorder. Disorder, disorientation is a part of life. This is life, this is the world, and we should accept disorientation. We should accept disorder. And the postmodern writers, when they accept disorders, the disorder and disunity and disorientation is reflected in their works, in their poems, plays, stories.